Hello, Fuse Nation. My name is Alex Fuse here, the host of Sports Fusion News. It is 3 p.m. here on the East Coast, noon time on the West Coast. Today is December 14th, 2016, and I am joined by Benita Zahn, who is the 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. News Channel 13 co-anchor, and she is also the health reporter covering issues including wellness, treatment breakthroughs, aging, nutrition, and also the latest healthcare trends. So, Benita, I want to welcome you on to Sports Fusion News today.
Well, it's a delight to be joining you.
Yeah, thank you. And Benita, I want to ask you, I know President-elect Donald Trump wants to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And I want to ask you, since you have been reporting on a lot of healthcare trends throughout the years, and how does this exactly influence us here in the capital region?
I think it's way too early to know. Some of the biggest issues on it, probably the key one, is what happens with someone who has a pre-existing condition, and that's something that the Trump administration to be has said that they would probably keep, but that's all to be shaken out. We wouldn't see any changes much before 2018, perhaps 2019. Again, too early to tell. Pre-existing conditions a big one. Where and who would be offering these policies? Also, kids who are 26 are allowed, up to age 26, are allowed to stay on their parents' policy. That's something else that the president-elect has said he would keep, but again, it's still an unknown. So the issue now is folks just don't know, and it's just a wait and see game.
And also a trend that has been seen to come up 2 days ago, Schenectady passed a law placing a ban on smoking in the car while there are kids in the vehicle. Now, do you see this law becoming more popular in counties around New York State?
Probably. I believe this is the second or third community. Westchester has something very similar on the books. So, yes, it goes along with other social laws that we've seen. I'm sure you're familiar with the tax on sugared beverages in an effort to get us to stop consuming those calorie-laden beverages. So, yeah, but let me just... We'll keep that on one side, yes. But as you move into a Trump administration, we may not see as many, only because the president-elect has been a proponent of more, I'll call it states' rights, which this you could say is local, obviously, but less regulation and more, if you will, self-regulation. So it's yet to be seen, but this is not the first community that's done it. I do expect to see others. Again, I think it ties into your first question. We'll see what happens during the Trump administration.
Okay, Benita, we'll switch gears now and talk a little about your career. And I want to ask you, what made you want to become a news reporter, and especially a health reporter, as you do have a weekly segment on Thursday nights?
That was my program I did for 13 years at WMHT, and now we've moved into quarterly programs on that. 13 years was a long time to go and do something here pretty much every week. But, I went to college as a biology major, and you marry that to a kid who was always asking questions. I was a real annoying kid to my mother, I think, because I was always asking questions. And when I got into college and I was in studying biology, I was also, and still very active in theater, and a good friend of mine was a runaway chemistry major taking the Intro to Com class, and she said, "Why don't you come take the class with me?" And I did. And you know what? It was a marriage of everything I was really good at. I needed my observation and analytical skills from science. I needed my performance skills from theater. And I was also an honor English student throughout high school. So I needed my language skills. And the rest is history. It really worked out well. And it's and for somebody who doesn't sit still well, and I like to experience new things, it's been perfect career choice.
Now, I want to ask you, how long have you been working with Jim Cambrick, who is also the other co-anchor at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. on News Channel 13 with you?
We started together at 5 o'clock in 1994, and then we've had a couple of lives, so on and off since 1994.
So what has it been like working with someone like Jim?
Oh, it's wonderful. He's smart, he's witty, and we're good friends outside of work. So it's really fun.
Yeah, and it seems like when I watch Channel 13 every night, it seems like there's always a great chemistry between the whole crew, and it's always enjoyable for me to watch Channel 13. So that's what I like about watching you guys.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. You know, pretty much what you see is what you get. You all get along. And nobody takes themselves too seriously. We take our work very seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And I think that's really important. You know, at the end of the day, it's still about being people and doing good work and serving your community. Don't you agree?
Yes, yeah. I always try to help out in my community as much as possible. And I always help out at my school whenever they need help. And I'm always traveling with the sports teams, always getting involved. And if you could give someone advice in this career, this journalism career, communications career, what would you give to them?
You know, it's sort of twofold. One, learn a lot about everything because everything is intertwined. And, you know, as a health reporter, I'm still very interested in other sciences and in politics. I mean, your first question was really a political question to me. So you have to be well-rounded. The other thing I always say, particularly to younger folks starting out, walk through doors. You think you know what it is you want to do, but sometimes it doesn't present exactly the way you think it's supposed to. But walk through the door. I thought when I got out of college, actually when I was still in school, I thought I'd go into research into immunology. So when the opportunity, and clearly I didn't do that, but when the opportunity to cover health came up, I jumped on it. So I got that whole biology science, you know, aspect of my life fulfilled, and I've stayed interested in it ever since. Just not the way I thought. I walked through a different door.
Okay, Benita, before we wrap up the interview, I want to ask you, I know you've had a lot of experience doing news and reporting. I want to ask you, what was the most embarrassing moment that you had on live television?
You know, people have asked that, and there's one that stands out. It was a number of years ago, and I was anchoring the noon show by myself, and I sneezed, and it wasn't pretty. You're getting the visual, aren't you? And all I could do was smile. I sort of laughed, shook my hand, looked at the camera, and said, "We're going to go to commercial break." That's all we could do. Nobody ever said boo about it. It was just a very real moment.
Well, Miss Zahn, I want to say thank you for coming on my show today. And I just want to say I have Ben Amy, who is also a reporter from Channel 13 on later on tonight. And I also have Karen Tarachi, who joined you at Channel 13 about 5 months ago on this week as well. So News Channel 13 is taking over Feuzion News this week.
Well, you know what? We like hearing that because it's a fun crowd, and we like to be able to talk to your listeners as well. And I wish you all the best. Great questions, and it's really nice to spend a little time with you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope to see you very soon.
You got it, kiddo. All best and very happy, healthy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Fuse Nation, you just heard it straight from Benita Zahn from News Channel 13. Be sure to go back and watch all my other episodes. Be back tonight here. I have a show at 7:30, and 8 p.m. here on YouTube. Be sure to watch and subscribe and like the video. Comment below what you think. Should Donald Trump replace Obamacare like he's been saying, or what do you think about him replacing Obamacare? Well, we'll find out. And what you say in those comments, be nice to one another, and I will see you at 7 p.m. tonight.